Hello.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm in Houston in a hotel room, so I look like a zombie, I'm sure.
Oh, you're in a hotel room. That's where I was last time. I think tonight will be safe though. I'm back in Austin. So I think, and I've had great Wi-Fi all night. So hopefully we won't have any craziness like last time.
That's great. You
Yeah.
are the hardest working man in music for sure.
Well, it was just, it was just the final road trip to move because there are some things I don't trust with the moving company. It was just
Yeah,
that. So Barbara, where are you if you're in a hotel? Where are you tonight?
I'm deep in the heart of Montrose, one block from the Menil Museum, if you know the Menil collection. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Welcome all. Well, look at all these people. My goodness, Soprano 2 showing up. Yeah, the alto ones were a little thin, so I appreciate seeing all of you. Welcome. We're going to focus tonight on the Holiday Jazz Trio. And that will probably take most of our time because, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's first do a couple of things just to get ourselves going physically. It's the end of a long night. The Cleveland Browns won today. So it's the first time in many years they have a winning record. So the universe is slightly askew. So hopefully we will, we'll have a good rehearsal. But let's do a couple of things. Let's give ourselves a couple of nice, easy sirens. So very relaxed, take a breath and good. And take a breath and see if you can find a little more space, a little harder. Very good. I would encourage you to mute. Otherwise, that sound is terrifying across Zoom. Let's do a couple things with our pure 5 vowels. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. And notice my mouth is not doing this. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. It's all right here. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. Line them up, all very straight. We'll start here and we'll go up. Here we go. 1, 2, go. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. Nice. Now, one thing about the Holiday Jazz Trio is it's all in a pretty close range. So let me ask you a question. When I say barbershop quartet, how many of you feel like either with Soko or with someone else, you've sung some music that is in that barbershop quartet style? Sarah Edwin? Actually, I see a bunch of hands. Okay, Nicole, Dorothy. Okay, so there are, I think, 3 answers I'm kind of looking for. When we say barbershop quartet, what do you think is part of that style? Rhonda, what you got? Wait, is Rhonda frozen? Her hands up?
I think yeah, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you, but yeah, go ahead, Rhonda. What you got?
No, that was, I think I had my hand up from a while ago.
Okay, yeah, you were totally frozen. You looked like you were absolutely going to answer everything. Like Rhonda's ready to go. Okay, so somebody other, who's got, so just go ahead and unmute and shout out. What's something about barbershop quartet?
4-part harmony, close 4-part harmony.
Yeah, so Dorothy's already got one. I mean, yes, it's in harmony, but that describes a lot of our music. But the word she said,
a cappella.
Yeah, and so if you think about like a mixed chorus, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, that has a range of this big. Barbershop is going to be about half of that. So all those harmonies get condensed. Of course, and Dorothy also said a cappella. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that are a cappella, but man, when you say barbershop, you know you're going to be singing without instrumental accompaniment. It's going to be those close, colorful harmonies. There's one other thing that I think is worth mentioning. Don't let Jackie of the First Sopranos beat you. Okay. She said a great word, precision. Not only does that apply to the harmonies, but it applies to the rhythm, right? Not only do you have to sing these very close, colorful harmonies correctly, you have to sing them at the right time, because otherwise it doesn't communicate. It doesn't communicate. So precision is a great word. Rhythmic and pitch, intonation. Now, I recorded these pieces for you on the organ, and there's a reason I did that, but it has to do with precision. The organ is just like you. The organ is a wind instrument. You are a wind instrument. And so I can be very precise about my releases on the organ that in a way you can't on the piano. So that's why I recorded these specific pieces on the organ. So use that recording to your advantage. Look at your scores and you'll see they line up. Everywhere that I put a black line telling you release here, you'll hear it on the recording, okay? Good. So let's start, please, with number one, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. The other thing that's worth mentioning here, if you look right at the very beginning, just above your first notes, it says swing feel. Now, you know what to do because you know how this song goes, but just so you know what it means on the page, the eighth notes are not equal. It's not this. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. It's not do, 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 do. No. The eighth notes, the first one is a little longer, the second one is a little shorter, and it feels good. It feels like 1940s Glenn Miller. Oh, the weather outside, dooba 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 doo. Now, I know you understand that because you've heard this piece before, but just you know, if you've never actually seen swung music put on the page, they write the eighth notes the same way. It's up to you to put them into the appropriate style. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at your part. I want to start on this first page. For right now, don't worry about text. Let's do this on do, just on a do. So here's the first stuff. And you sound like this. So here we go, on a do. This is the first page. Go ahead and take the repeat though. We'll do it twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Off. Now, the second time I put that little soprano, let it snow, I put that little bit in there for you. You are singing the melody, but don't forget what the melody is, right? It'll really help you line things up. I've got one or two things to point out, but before I do, any questions about that? Yes, ma'am, Julie.
That little Let It Snow that you said you added, we
Yeah.
don't sing on that?
Right, no, I'm giving you that for pitch reference.
Right. Why are there two Let It Snow's lyrics on top? I
It's
assume we
because
did.
of the two, there's two stanzas on this page. Oh, the weather, and then it doesn't show.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's not really necessary, but let me tell you, man, if I ran the world, the first thing I would fix is music publishing. I would totally fix it, but nobody cares about my opinion. So yeah, but that's what that is. Any
Okay.
questions about this?
I have
Is,
no
yeah, go ahead, Lindsay, go ahead.
Yeah, could you play that part, just the snow, let it snow, let it snow?
Yeah. Let me just get into it for you just so you have reference. So here's the phrase before, the lights or and since. Snow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Snow, let it snow, let it snow. You guys better figure out your parts fast or you have to listen to me sing in falsetto. It's terrifying. Right, so again, the lower three parts, that's tricky, where you have to come in on what Lindsay was just asking about. It's a little bit tricky. So make sure you don't forget that melody. If you were all singing the soprano one part, you would know right what to do. So just keep that in the back of your mind. That's why I'm referencing that when I'm playing. Any other questions before I? Good. So measure 4. Do we all
I
know?
can ask a question about
Yeah, go ahead.
the tempo. Sorry, the tempo. You know, you're playing it real staccato sort of, but it really is when they're outside. I mean, you're joining everything up, right? We're not popping from each word.
Oh yeah. Remember, I mean, the piano it's a percussion instrument. It's very different. That's another reason why I played it on the organ. Now, this is not. Think about the style. This piece is not languid and legato. All the weather outside is frightful. No, it's not that. There is a lilt to it. There's a little bit of space. All the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. I mean, yeah, so it's not legato, but it's probably not going to be as disconnected as the piano. Yeah. What I would say with these pieces, don't make them too difficult, right? I said at some point recently, what my teacher told me in college, not everything is difficult. You sing these pieces the way you think they should be sung, and you'll have it, right? You've been singing these pieces since you were like 4 years old, probably, right? Most of us have. Good. So I want to point out measure 4 on the word and. Just you've got this great chance for a slide, right? I can't do it on the piano, but vocally you can do it. But the fire is so delightful, and since there are 2 important things. The first is pitch. You have to start on the D and you have to end on the B flat, clearly. The second thing is rhythm. You have to start the word at the right time, okay? So just make sure that you don't let the slide, don't let that take away from the precision. But that being said, enjoy the slide. It's part of what makes this piece cool. Let's do this page again, just on a do, this page. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So, any other questions? I mean, on the one hand, it's not hard. On the other hand, it's barbershop. And so these harmonies are, they're not easy. Now, I can tell you this. If you spend a little time figuring this out, the beauty of barbershop is it's a very specific style, and there isn't that much variety within it. I mean, there's only so many ways you can make these harmonies. So if you get used to doing this, there's a reason why there are barbershop people who can just like get together and sing a bunch of stuff and spend no time rehearsing it because they got this in their body. So, get used to this. And this is the kind of thing where we can draw from in the future. And we could, have barbershop in every concert if we wanted to. So, cool. Now, let's keep going. We'll just do the pickup to the next page. This is the middle section that you would expect to hear. Yeah, let's just go through. Let's do the pick up to page 2 when we finally, here's the melody. Here's your part. Good. So let's go. Here's the pick up to 10. Still on a do. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the middle section. And I would say that most of it's pretty straightforward until we get to 16. 16 is a little trickier. Any questions about this middle portion? All right, let's do it again. Let's do the pick up to 10. This time, let's keep going. I can tell you that at 18, the main idea returns, but it's varied. So you don't get the benefit of, oh, hey, we've already done this before. It's, you want to feel that way, but it's not actually what you've already done. So here's the pick up to page 2, the pick up to measure 10 when we finally. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, page 3, on the one hand, is exactly what you expect, but on the other hand, everything is like one note different. So you have to be diligent. For instance, look at measure 24. Measure 24, on page 1, you weren't singing a G, you were singing an F. But at measure 24, you're singing a G in the middle. You just have to pay attention, right? It's just one of those things. It's not as simple as it should be. Now, that's why it's interesting, okay? But you've got to be diligent. And then, of course, at the very end, so let's do, if there are any questions, let's do the pick up to 18 one last time. Pick up to 18. All right, here we go. Oh, the fire. Oh, yeah. Fire is, that's fine, yeah. Oh, the fire. Pick up to 18. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me play the last phrase. I apologize. The last phrase, pick up to 26. Yeah, so, I mean, it's hard. The nice thing about barbershop, though, is your range is like 5 notes. It's all right here. It's just, my goodness, those 5 notes really, really, really matter. Any questions? All right, let's look at number 3. We're going to stay in the same kind of style. Let's look at number 3 of the Holiday Jazz Trio, Jingle Bell Rock. Yeah, these pieces are the moments where you should take out all your anger and frustration on soprano ones, because their part is so much easier. It's because it's the melody that everybody knows, you know? So if you want to send them like a nasty message, tonight's the night to do it. Okay, good. So let's see, what's worth mentioning at the outset? One thing that's worth mentioning is right away in measure 2, we don't want to do this. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. That's why I've got that black line to shorten it. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. So if you like precision, it's an 8th note, okay? So just shorten the word rock. We still need some K on it, but shorten it. We don't want it to sound like me playing at the church organ. We want to sound a little more interesting, Glenn Miller, smooth, right, swinging. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. We'll spend some time talking a little bit later, but let's start by singing. Here's how it starts. There's your first chord. Here's your note. Here we go. Let's keep it on a do, please. On a do. 1, 2, 1, 2, go. Oh, good. We'll pause. We'll pause. This piece is actually, I think, for your part, I think it's the easiest one. This first page has barely any accidentals. It seems very normal harmony-wise. Any questions about the first page?
That last note goes up.
Oh, crap. Sorry. That's years of music theory where this note has to go down.
Just didn't want him to get the wrong impression.
Yeah. Except if you're in barbershop when it can do whatever it wants. So I apologize. Thank you, Dorothy. Yes.
No, you're right.
No, that's good. All right. So let's do this. Let's go back. Let's sing that first page. Let's sing the repeat, just to get the repetition. We're going to keep going, and then we'll talk about some more stuff. So let's start from the beginning one last time. 1, 2, 1, 2, go. Okay, so we'll look at a couple things. Any initial questions?
I was wondering if that's really O or do you want oo?
Where's that?
At measure 23.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Honestly, look, if we were in a concert hall, I may very well make some adjustments. I think for right now, sticking to the score is fine. O is fine. Yeah, just honestly, for simplicity's sake, there's all sorts of adjustments we may make if we were actually in a space together. But I think for what we're doing, good question, though. I appreciate it. So on page 7, these dutes. I just want to make sure we're in agreement that we don't need to emphasize the T. The T does not need to have any aspiration. We don't need to hear this. T, t, t. We don't need that. You essentially kind of swallow the T, use the T to make the dutes staccato. Doot, 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 da da da. So it's not this. Doot, 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 doot. Right, that's very, I'm just going to say church organy, okay? That explains everything. Okay, it's pasty white church organist. We don't need that. Doot, doot, doot. So, doot, 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 doot. Just let the T cut the note in half to keep it staccato, but don't give any air. One thing I want to point out, look at the bottom of page 7, measure 20, or going back to 19. Compare that to page 6, the second measure. Right? Just make sure you understand that when the main melody comes back, the rhythm is different. So, go with what you see on the page. The last thing I wanted to say about this one is all the stuff about the doot and not making the T aspirate, doot, 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 that does not apply to the rest of the piece. We need to have jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. We need to have final consonants. Bottom of page 7, jingle around the clock. We got to have some final consonant, okay? So don't confuse what we're doing with the doots with the rest of the piece. You got to have some final consonant or we have no idea what we're saying. Now, it is not a Germanic hexanleet final consonant. It's not that. But we all need to have a little, that kind of thing. Can we start, please, on the doots, measure 11? This is page 7, measure 11. Here's the full chord. You'll hear that in the recording. Here we are, measure 11 to the end. 1, 2, go. Any questions? Yes, ma'am, Julie?
On measure 23, I was singing along and I just like slid that right on up. Am I supposed to do that at all? Completely avoid it? Or
Yeah. That's a slur, not a slide. So.
Okay. It was fun, but it didn't sound right after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, we have enough of that in these pieces. We don't want to add to it. Yeah, so just make it. Yeah, good question. Anything else about this one? All right, let's go to number 2. I'll be home for Christmas. You guys have some of the real interest in this piece, which is great. There's a bunch of E naturals to E flats, and many of those belong to you. So one of the things that's worth noting, there are two pieces really in the whole semester that have a kind of push and pull of tempo, a slowing down and then returning to tempo, that kind of thing. Because we're virtual, I very specifically picked music that for the most part just goes and we don't worry about it, and that's fine. But this piece and then Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas are the two where there's some push and pull of tempo. So just be ready for that, pay attention to it. I've already got, of this one, I've already got my hand waving. I'll finish the rest of Christmas here in the next few days. So just be aware of that, you know, this is a piece where there's going to be some ebb and flow. Let's see, what else is worth noting? I do conduct this in two beats to the bar. That's what that means when we say in two. So it's this. I'll be home for Christmas. You, as opposed to this. I'll be home for. That's conducting in 4, and it's a little square. We don't want to do that with this piece. So when I put that in your score, into, for right now though, for practice, I will count you off in 4. So let's do some singing. Again, let's just do it on the do and see what you can do about those E naturals and E flats. 1, 2, go. That'll be a moment of retard. You see it right there above your score, the RIT. We'll slow down there. You'll see it in my conducting on the video. One other thing on this first page that's worth mentioning, measure 7 on the word me. See that little M-E-L? That's the arranger telling you folks that for that one note, you have the melody. And it just has to do with the barbershop style, okay? So they're keeping the soprano on top. You have the melody. And if you notice, the first altos are above you too. So when you're singing this, you want to make a slight difference. You can plan on me. You just want to bring it out just a tiny bit, okay? I mean, we don't want to accent it. We don't want it to be obnoxious. But in that chord, we want to hear this note, and that's you. So just be aware of that, okay? Any questions about this page? You sing, I mean, I guess you've got, you know, a fifth, a sixth of range. You keep coming back to the same notes. So, you know, get used to those same notes, and you'll do that a lot in this piece. Let's turn the page. Starts out the exact same way. Let's sing this to the end. 1 and go. We'll pause for a moment. This page is where the barbershop stuff becomes really difficult, because voice leading for you is not very easy. Voice leading is a term we talk about in music. It has to do with, did the composer make it easy for you to sing your part? You know, not so much is your part easy or hard, but if this is your part, does it make sense? Can you figure it out? And there's some awkwardness on this page. That's the barbershop style, okay, coming through. But you've got to be comfortable with some of these leaps. Like at 25, listen to your part at 25. I'll be home for Christmas. It's not really easy. That G flat to a D, for Christmas. That's kind of bizarre. So just, you know, pay attention to the detail. It's not easy. Let's do this page one more time. Starting at 17. And 1, 2, go. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So I so desperately want to go G flat to F that I messed that up. I'm sorry. 25, one more time. 25. 25. I'll be on. 25. 1, 2, go. So at the end, you'll see me conducting in 4 in the video. If only in is the melody you expect, and then you break off. Any questions on this page? Okay, you're brave. That's good. Please note oh, Lindsay, go ahead. Yeah, just jump in if I don't see you waving your hand. Jump in.
Christmas in measure 27, how do you want us to enunciate that?
Well, how we say, yeah, great question. Great question. How do we speak the word Christmas? The quick answer is just like you say it, Christmas. This is a popular song. We want it to sound normal. I'll be home for Christmas. I don't want to make it Christmas. You know, sometimes when you're in choral music, sometimes directors want you to alter certain vowels to make them, quote, prettier, and that's fine. You know, there may be times when we do that together. But I think in this piece, we want it to sound like home. And we all say, well, I think most of us say Christmas. So the schwa is appropriate. I'll be home for Christmas. With the schwa, don't swallow it. Christmas, no. Christmas. Keep it forward, right? You know, don't let it collapse. But Christmas, just like you would say it, is perfectly fine. It's a good question, though. Thank you. Anything else? Please note, if I remember correctly, in the recording, the organ recording, I held the last note purposefully way long because I just wanted to cut you off and didn't want to have to remember how long I held it when I was playing the organ. Because remember, all that stuff is going to go away. This piece will be a cappella. So when you're singing in your video, cut off with me. Does that make sense? Don't like try to keep singing because the organ's playing, because that organ's going to go away. Okay, Zoe's going to take that out. I think I did that also on Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Cool. All right, any other questions before we move on?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
One thing, well, this is what I think should happen, but you can tell me if I'm wrong. Every time the word Christmas is said, we need to not land on the S of Christmas.
Yeah, okay, sure.
That should go with the next syllable, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so definitely, I mean, you know, barbershop, the idea of precision, apply all of your good choral singing, which you've known for years now, right? I mean, I suspect there's nothing that I'm doing that's probably substantially different than Janie. So, Christmas, absolutely. We don't want any snakes. Christmas, no. Connect everything. This is very legato. I'll be home for Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, with this piece, we don't want anything to be dead. We don't want Christmas Eve will find me. I sang all the right notes. I sang all the right rhythms, but who cares, right? You want this to sound like the nostalgia it's supposed to invoke. So when you're singing this, you know, Christmas Eve will find me. Give some shape, go somewhere, and come back. I mean, you know, we're talking subtly, but, you know, I talked about this a lot with the First Sopranos, especially on their funky dreidel. You know, you got to think about your face and your voice creating that sense of nostalgia that these pieces have for many people, right? We want them to like this, and we want them to pay for it. That is our goal. So even if this piece is not nostalgic for you, remember, we're all actors. I sing things all the time that I'm not personally invested in, except for the fact that I know the people in the audience are writing my check, okay? Whatever that is, right? They're letting us continue singing, or, you know, I don't mean literally writing me a check, but they're helping our organization financially. So, you know, with all of these pieces, but especially this Christmas stuff, we want to touch people's heartstrings. So make sure that physically, from a countenance perspective, you are fully invested, even if you don't feel that way, right? That's okay. I mean, we all pretend. We all pretend. I have sung in every religious institution I can, because, like I said, if they write me a check, I will sing, okay? And I will sing happily. Yeah, cool, okay. Great, we didn't touch on funky dreidel, but that's okay. This is a great introduction for these pieces. Use the recordings, match them with your score. It will give you so much of what you need. Any other questions? Okay, you're nice people. I'm going to stop recording because you're the last. I don't have to end it, but I am going to stop recording. And if anybody stays on for a few minutes, I'll let you stay on. I may punch out here in about 5 or 10 minutes, okay?